Hey guys, welcome to the Centre Bounce on what is this beautiful wet Friday afternoon / nighttime. It is your boy Big J, and we may be going solo today. We'll see how we go, but we're here with you guys. Bit of an impromptu stream today, but just more of a, hey, let's check out the teams are going. Let's see how everything's doing. Who's named in our sides, who's not named in our sides. Let's have at it. Hopefully you guys are having a great day as everyone starts to filter in. Velo, good afternoon all. Oh, how good was last night's game, mate? Last night's game was bloody amazing. Maybe not as contested as I would have loved. I would have, if I could go back in time and say, hey, doggies, I wish you guys had come out of the gates a lot quicker than what you did. It was basically domination by Geelong for majority of the game. And then the last 5 or so minutes, they come back and then they try and win, and then Geelong win. If it was a lot more neck and neck, a lot more lead changes and whatnot, I think it would have been more impressive. Congrats to Geelong as well. Just how strong their team, how strong their team is at the moment. To not have Dangerfield, to not have O'Sullivan, to not have Bowes and a couple of other players in the side and still get the W. It's bonkers. They're led by their young kids, but they're supported by their old kids. And, hey, it works out. So there you go. Unfortunately, Joe had Bontempelli as his VC. But for all of us that don't have Bontempelli at the moment, he's going to drop in some money. I think he's going to be probably, like 30K cheaper at the end of this week, and then start to drop down. He may even drop down to under 600K, which would be amazing. And let's check out the teams at the moment. Hopefully you guys are here chucking in a few more questions and whatnot. Tom McDonald stiff to be dropped. Yeah, going to have a look at some weekend's teams. Dogs kicking at Gold Coast. Yeah, there you go. It was very, very rough. Geelong's inside 50 work is very, very good as well. And a lot of the guys push quite high up the ground. So works out nice for them. Theo, hello, Big J. Horn, Francis, and Hustwaite for Simpson and Sarong. Thoughts? Hope you're doing well. I think you do need Simpson in. I think Simpson is the number one in to get in this week. But it's tricky. I'm not so keen on Sarong, but I don't think there's other options at that price, which is probably the big thing. If I had to choose between Horn, Francis, and McRae, I think I would trade out McRae purely for the fact that he's probably 2 to 3 weeks away and they have their bye round in 3 weeks. Whereas I'm hearing Horn Francis may only be 2, which would mean that he misses next week anyway, and then potentially is back the week after. So, you're getting an extra week out of what would be Horn Francis, potentially opens up some extra scoring there as well. But yeah, a bit of a wait and see for a few teams. And if it allows you to do what you want to do, fantastic. Last week, Sarong went bigger than Brayshaw for the first time in however long. I think it's been 10 weeks and he's only gone bigger than him once. The tag ended up going between the two, whereas I don't think you don't not want to tag Sarong, if that makes sense. I think he's the number one tag at Freo and for due cause. So that may be my only problem with that trade at the moment. How you going, mate? Cheese, hope you're doing well. Doing okay. Nice to be home. Friday is my work from home day. So very, very happy to be here, which allows me to do the Friday night streams. Jump in with the team sheets. Look at all the carnage. I had a sneaky hope one of my players would be named. He wasn't named. But someone else got named. So it's not too bad there. What are we saying here? Probably want Bomb before Tigers game at 640K. Let me have a quick look at the fixture. Let me pull it up. 1 second. So if we just look at the fixture, what is that? Round 12 he's got off. Round 13, no Tigers. Round 14, Doggies playing St Kilda. So he may cop the tag there. We'll see. And then I assume this is the one that you're talking about. Yeah. So this is, so by round 15, you must have Bont in. That is probably the cutoff point. But that's basically the time when a few of us might be getting rid of our Brisbane players, might be getting rid of our Melbourne players, for example. I've been looking at personally Flynn and Lindsay to the Bont. So Flynn and Lindsay to the Bont is perfect because I've got two players out. The player comes in. Hey, presto, we're laughing. I think this week 16 is also, so week 15 may be the week when mid-season draftees come in as well. So it could work out very nice for us there. I reckon Box and Gross will start, or at least on bench. I think both will be bench. Probably worth us going through the team sheets now. So obviously we know about Thursday's game, know about Friday's game. Saturday's game's already been named. Luckily, we have Matt Carroll still playing. Otherwise, I would have a donut this week and have to make some lucky changes in my team. I'm glad that's not the case because I like to have rookies on the bench. No Hustwaite for all those people that have Hustwaite. Zorko should go quite big considering there's no Coleman, no McKenna. Marshall's not left. I mean, who's in the back line that's going to take anything from him? Probably no one. Like, let's be honest. No one else is getting kick-ins. No one else is doing anything. It's all going to be Dane Zorko day all day long. Zach Fisher's in, predicting that he's going to play a bit of wing. That's where he was lining up for North Melbourne, but there is a full well chance that he may end up being the sub. I mean, you don't generally sub small forwards, but sometimes you do. Luke Parker off the bench is fine. Luke McDonald covering the back line is fine, and then Finn O'Sullivan on the wing. So my prediction would probably be Zach Fisher as the sub, but we'll wait until Saturday games. This one, no changes for Freo. So nice to have all the people that, you know, brought in Erasmus. Where is Erasmus named? Bobby, no. Jai Amos, no. Let me see. Where can I find Erasmus? Guys, where is big Eraz? Erazy boy. Where am I looking? Cooper Simpson, Johnson, Erasmus. There you go. So I'm blind. Erasmus, brought him in 2 weeks ago. You'd be happy. Everyone bringing in Cooper Simpson. We'd be happy too. I don't think Cooper Simpson will be the sub. Fingers crossed. I don't think he'll be the sub, but we'll see what happens. And yeah, it's great for them. Few changes over here at Port. Does it affect Connor Rosie? We'll see. There has been some talk as well that some other players are going to move around. It's the last week before they bye. Not that it matters too much. And then we'll start looking into Sunday games. And Sunday is where everything happens. So if we have a look at my Supercoach team, 1 second. You can tell I do fantasy football, can't you? The big green dots is what we want. And Tom Gross with the big green dot is what we're kind of looking at. So, yeah, it's fantastic there. Nice to see him named. Camporelli obviously not going to play. He's selected as an emergency, but I don't think so. Same with Passion emergency. Same with Sard emergency. You know, someone could get sick and then they come in, but it happens. Unfortunately, people who have Clay Hall, currently he's not named. He's last on the bench, so last on the emergencies. Bo Allen as well is not named. Sid Draper is not named for the people that have him. And then Archer Reed is not named either. So West Coast looking like they're going to go into this with the double ruck setup. Where is he? Matt Flynn and then BJ Williams hiding around here somewhere are going to probably be the subs. Is that good? Is that not good? We'll see. But congratulations for those people that picked up Sandy Brock. 99K player. He's fantastic. He's fantastic. I love Sandy Brock. I wish I had him in my team. 99K would have been great. Could have gone Brock 2 weeks ago. Last week, Erasmus. This week, Simpson. Ashton, all sorted. But we didn't do that because we're silly. Heading into the Sydney versus Melbourne game. Nice to see Jake Lever back. Tom McDonald omitted. Had that comment before. Pretty harsh on Tom McDonald. If we have a look at this as well, Jake Bowie may lose a few kickouts due to Jake Lever coming back. We know that Lever is quite good in that type of position. Would have loved for Ben Patton to be named, but at least he is on the emergencies. Did okay in the VFL, but it wasn't fantastic. Going to be a bit of a tough one for a few people. I dropped Riley Bice this week. Hopefully he doesn't murder me, even though his average away from home is a lot better than his average at home. We'll see. Callum Mills, nice to be playing as well. So Clayton Oliver, does he bounce back? Wait and see. Him versus the Chad will be interesting. Langford, if you guys had him mate, would have been fantastic. How much is Langford these days? Let me have a quick look. Langford. So, Harvey Langford, 374K. You could have got him at 180K, and it would have been a nice cash cow there as well. Sorry, guys, we'll get through some of the comments in a second. One sec, as we hit to the last team of the week. Nice to see Lindsay named on the wing as well. Works out nice. If you can get to a 70, I'm very happy. Couple more weeks, grab Bond for Lindsay and Flynn. The Sunday game is what everyone is looking at. There's a lot of changes for this team. I don't know if this is correct. Let me just see. All right, there you go. There you go. That's what I was thinking. So we do have another player on the bubble this week. We all thought it was Cooper Simpson. It was Cooper Simpson, but now there's another one. Jack McRae's out. McLennan's out. Collard out. Hugo Garcia omitted for those people that still have him. Hugh Boxall is back, which may save a few people's lives because, hey, a lot of people have him and brought him in very early. Where am I looking for? Hugh Boxall. So Nazai is still playing, which is great. I know there was some consideration that he was going to be injured. O'Connell's back as well. Phillip, who's still named, which is great. Jack Steele, Zach Jones, Marshall, Witts, Tuke Miller, and Noah Anderson there. It is a very tough matchup for Marshall. Jared Witts is pretty tough. So just see what happens there. But yeah, that was kind of the big question. Was he coming back? No. So yes, Boxer will be on the bubble. If you had Liam O'Connell as well, he's not been scoring that great, but at least he's playing similar to a Sandy Brock. And then there was some consideration that a Jepson was going to play, but he is not. So there you go. Guys, let's smash out some questions. Let's go. Holders like me got kissed with Pitto. Yep, there you go. And if it was a 1 week, it was going to be a 1 week regardless. So just lucky that that was the case. G-Bags, how you doing, mate? Hey, fellas, worth taking Bezlanka's VC score, or should I leave the Cherry or Brayshaw? Look, currently I'm going Zach Merritt into Cherry. What did 118? Look, I would say don't go Bailey Smith. This is the gut feeling that I have. 120 is okay. But with the high levels of scoring that we've seen over the last couple of weeks, it may just murder you to have that score on the field. Have that as your vice captain. It's rough, man. I would say no. If it was a 130, fantastic. But a 118, when we've got Ruckman that are pumping out massive scores, makes things really tough. I personally would say no. Hoping to get Bond after his bye. Fantastic fellow, me too. What does Fisher mean for Sheasel? Hey, Greek Raven, how you doing? Looks like he will end up being... I think he'll still play the same positions. I think either Fisher will be sub or playing wing, so it won't matter too much. Nick Martin, Luke Jackson, or Chad Warner, or even Marek. Look, I quite like Marek. I think he's got the role. He doesn't seem to have the big ceiling like a Chad Warner does, which is kind of scary. And Luke Jackson is great over the next couple of weeks with no Sean Darcy in the team. But from team's perspective and playing perspective, it is pretty hard to pass up Chad Warner versus Melbourne, who just give up a lot of points. So they don't have a tagger really anymore. I'm sad I didn't get him at 490K when I could have. So he would probably be my selection, I think. I want to hold McRae, but his money helps me get rid of a dead rookie. 100%. 100%. It just depends on who you go to. And this has been the question mark for McRae versus Horn Francis for a lot of people. If you had both, it's probably a tricky situation. I would probably say trade him. The last 3 or 4 weeks, McRae hasn't been that great in scoring anyway. So if you can go McRae up to a good player, maybe if you've got an Ashcroft in the midfield, you can sideways him down. So DPP switch him down to McRae, gets you a gun midfielder. I mean, McRae plus a bunch of money could have equaled Bont last week. McRae plus 15K could have equaled Holmes last week or this week. There's quite a few options around that. So if it allows you to get what you want to get, fantastic. Simpson, probably number 1. Depending on how he goes, probably you could even go Sheldrick, number 2. Seems to be scoring quite well. And then a Boxall, number 3, if you don't have him. I would even put some money into a Sandy Brock if he wasn't so expensive already, just because McGovern's probably not ever coming back. So there you go. Hey, Big J in chat. How you doing, Tantrums? Any surprise with tonight's teams? Nah, I don't think so. It's really tricky this week. And sorry, today's games and yesterday's games is probably the hardest ones I've seen for a while in Thursdays and Fridays of actually being able to choose and pick your vice captains. There hasn't really been any super standouts. Now, the people who had Max Holmes as vice captain, fantastic. But a lot of people would have gone Bont, and it didn't really work out. I know Big Pro is talking about, went Ed Richards, and some other people did as well. So congratulations to you guys. I obviously haven't done that. Everyone's DM's not working on X. Yeah, I don't know what's happened. What are your trades this week, Big J? Mate, I went a bit nutty with my trades this week. Let's have a quick look. I mean, I can still move some things around. The bench is very much dead. If I wanted to do some extra things, then fantastic. But the trades for me this week was, in hindsight, Max Holmes would have been a lot better. But I went Dacos. We were looking at it on the stream yesterday, Pro, and Dacos has the best run for defenders over the next few weeks. So we'll see how that pans out, obviously. Riley Bice was the initial trade out, plus someone else to get a primo in. We couldn't do that just due to cash gen. And then Bice going down so much in terms of money value. So Bice and McRae out this week for Bolton and Dacos. Hopefully it works out okay. 3 rookies left on field, which in today's climate is not terrible. Bolton should be a keeper or at least make me a bunch of money with this -8 break-even. So that's kind of the plan. If it gets me to a primo mid, fantastic. If he ends up being a keeper, fantastic. 15 trades, 3 spots left to fit on field, should be fine. I have the potential to go 2 up, like with 3 trades next week. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Ashcroft, Flynn, Lindsay gets me 2 primos. So yeah, and then it's just making up ground. I don't think I'll have a flex primo. Just cash gen is dead. If we look at the team, I haven't had a rookie over 200K in a very long time, and we're sitting on 12,887 cash. So missed out on a few cheapos there. Unfortunately, that's just the way it goes some years. Still can't decide if Dante's worth it. Yeah, and this is the big problem with him as well, isn't it? Like, let's check. Let's check. 1 second. This is what I would do. I would say Vicentini has scored well the last 2 weeks. Has scored very well the last 2 weeks. Comes in against Luke Jackson. I don't think Luke Jackson is that nullifying of a ruckman. So you've got something up there. He has scored okay in the past, which is great for yourself. But if Sweet comes back, it could really, really hurt. Now, the projections have him 64. I think he's better than a 64. Let's pretend he scores. What did he score last week? So last week, he did not score a 182. 98, 84. So let's say he scores a 90 against Luke Jackson. We put 90 in here. Cool. So it goes up 50K. If he was at your flex, I can understand a world where you put him in. No worries. But if he ends up being one of your R1, R2s, whatever it is, I think it's going to hurt you too much. There's people scrambling at the moment, and they have been gifted by Nankervis being out. But there's people scrambling at the moment that traded out Cherry, traded out Flynn for Goldstein, and then they're just stuck. I would hate for you to put yourself in that type of position. If you're using him purely as a cash cow, no worries, do it. But otherwise, it kind of sucks. Ricky Evans feel like straight after the bye. Yeah, and if Sweet has a good practice run during the bye round and Vicentini doesn't, Ken Hinckley's going to swap them. 100% he's going to swap them. So we'll see. Was wondering what that case pro, annoyed, constant notifications. There you go. Thoughts on the new Essendon, Angus Clark, Harry O'Farrell. Yep. I think also we've had some conversations about MSD, so mid-season draft happening. I think we're going to get those 2. We're probably going to get a few players in the mid-season draft as well. So Simpson's really good for this week. But just remember, we're hopefully you guys can hear me. We'll get some nice 99k rookies in over the next couple of weeks. There you go. Obviously, these teams, like if North Melbourne gets one in, they're not going to play next week. If, Port Adelaide, Freo, whoever gets one in, then as well. When does Essendon have theirs? When does Essendon's buy? Is it around 14? No, I think it's around 13. No, cool. So around 15 is Essendon? No. Okay. So the beautiful thing is that Essendon currently have 3 spots left in the mid-season draft. 3 or 4. They may even have 4, which is bonkers. So they potentially could pick up some players who are ready to go, ready to play. I could see a Ruckman coming straight in, maybe even a Crossley coming straight in as well. So we're going to get one price rise out of these Essendon players, and you should be able to pick at least check like these players. If it was a St Kilda, Freo would be a little bit stuck. If it is one of these teams, would be a little bit stuck just because we're not going to get a price rise. But anyone round 15, round 16 buy, you should. So yeah, hopefully there's going to be some players mid-season. I think Monday is the last day for teams to do LTIs, which is a great thing for us. So we should know on Monday, hey, what our downgrades are going to be. There should at least be a couple, and there'll be a few players who just instantly come straight in. So it happens every year. MS Day is this Wednesday. Yep, 100%. I will probably try and stream it. We'll see what time it's going to finish because I do play sports on Wednesday. Voss really likes Matt Carroll. Can't see him losing his spot. He's ahead of Boyd, etc. Yeah, which is great for me. Dead rookies don't matter so much during the bye rounds just because there's less players scored on field, which is fantastic, but we do want the player to play. Obviously, his score last week really sucks. So a 31 just is killer. It hurts. Potentially, I can just field Gross over Carroll. Maybe we look to do that. We'll see. When does Carroll play during the weekend? Because I can do the loop with Sard, right? So maybe we look to do that. Guys, let me know in the comments. Gross or Carroll? Gross or Carroll? We'll see what happens. Yeah, missed the group roast. There you go. Any chance you could go live next Wednesday? We'll make it happen. We'll see. I think Rosie starts getting played in the middle again if Hinkley goes. Look, potentially. I don't know if Hinkley will go. Port Adelaide are very bitter, and I think they're a team that are just going to be like, nah, Car, you can sit there the rest of the year. They are low on the ladder, so there's not as much pressure for Hinkley to do well anymore. It's not like they're going to make finals, or maybe they do a 5-0 again and then they make finals. Who knows? But yeah, there's some talk, I think, with a few of their mids, like Farrell, not like Farrell, but a few of their mids potentially going out that someone rests and then Rosie goes to the middle. But we'll see. Playing mid while Horn Francis out. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Rosie will be fine. He's a good scorer wherever he plays. I think he's proven without a doubt. Look, he's one that I want to put into my team if I can. The plans over the next couple of weeks are, I have no idea how I'm going to get cash for this position. We'll wait and see. It may just be Mills in like 3 weeks. Okay. Hopefully Mills makes some money. We can get 22 primos. I'll be very happy. But the plans over the next couple of weeks are going to be Flynn, Ashcroft, and maybe a Lindsay, or Lindsay, Chera, Flynn equaling Bont, Butters, and then a rookie downgrade, which could be the way to go. Ashcroft up, hopefully with Cooper Simpson money. We'll see. And then finishing off this position here. So just waiting for those mid-season rookies to come in. I think I have set myself up okay in terms of trades. Excuse me. Gonna sneeze. I think I've set myself up okay in terms of trades. 70k is not fantastic. It sucks. It really sucks. But this is the life we're living at the moment when we don't have cash gen and we picked Sard over Brock. So there you go. Anyone know Matt Kennedy here? Yep, absolute rub last night. 25 disposals at 80%. There you go. Maybe they just weren't that impactful, or his disposals didn't lead to things happening on field is probably the biggest thing. It does happen sometimes, hence Bailey Dale 40 touches and getting a 125. It's just how it works sometimes with champion data. Let me fix this up. Sorry, guys. It's just how it works sometimes with champion data. So, yeah, It happens. Garcia and McRae out should be good for Boxall. There you go. At this stage, I'm using my final boost. Nice. McRae, Hustwaite, C Hall, Bolton, Sims, Vicentini, leaving 120 in the bank. Look, I don't mind the Sims pick. I think he's going to be okay. Should do fine today. He is versing Oldstein. No Nankervis, so we might see a bit of a spike. Last week, I believe as well, Sims got to half-time at 38 points and then just didn't do much for the rest of the game. So, I mean, if we can get to a 70 or an 80 out of Sims, you'd be very, very happy. So, yeah, I don't see him getting dropped. You basically bring in two players who hopefully don't get dropped. Yeah. Big question for yourself is Vicentini over Simpson. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Sorry, guys. You get a phone call from your wife. You got to go, hey, jump in. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. Jacobs will be good, Big J. Need to be stress over Holmes. You're ready to have the max. There you go. Love the trades. Thank you, mate. And congratulations on the 1K. Hopefully, our little bit of a raid last night helped you quite a lot. Yeah. And start to get yourself monetized. Keep up the good stuff. Keep up the videos. Hopefully, you can hold the rank as well. If you had Horn, Francis, and McRae, who would you trade or keep at least one? Look, I would trade Horn Francis. Sorry, no, I would trade McRae. I think Horn Francis has the biggest ceiling and likes to score 100 a bit more. McRae has been down the last week. And I said this before, but I think he ended up the last couple of weeks, McRae has not been scoring over 100s, which doesn't help his situation at all. If Horn Francis is out for 2 weeks, that's round 11 and 12. So he would be out and coming back the week that you would hope that he comes back anyway. If McRae is out for like 3 weeks or even 2 weeks for McRae, you're missing out an extra week on him due to having the round 13 bye. So McRae generally for a lot of people allows them to get some form of primo in their team. Heck, you can grab another defender, grab another mid, grab another forward. He is 517k. It frees up a bit of money. If you don't, then you're in a bit of trouble. Don't go Dacos. I've had him for 3 weeks. There you go. Yeah, it's rough. Steering away from any port players. Reason is Hinkley can be given the flick. Yeah, and that's funny enough for myself as well. My round 12 buy is actually really healthy at the moment. I only have 4 players out just due to not having any port players. It sucks not having Rosie. Sucks not having a Marek and things like that. Those guys that can go big, but it works out all right when it does. So very happy with that at the moment. Clear buys. I just need to get rid of some players and have some guys playing. Not so Hoff holds his spot. He's in for Savani. Yeah, bit rough. Are your Roos a chance this week? Look, potentially. Potentially. Sonia Hood's come out and said, hey, they're going to play and they're going to play well. Look, I think everyone's in a chance. I don't think anyone would have picked us to even drawing with Brisbane at home in Tasmania. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with them, but it could end up happening. Reed Velo, as soon as JSOS comes back, he'll be out. Heads up on the top of buys for next week. I think it's 10% chance that Baz travels to Perth. Mate, that's going to be interesting. But at least for the likes of myself, I've got Cooper Simpson to cover in. It is only best 18, but yeah, Baz being out could be a thing. I think it's a 10-day break though, so maybe he travels and then he just doesn't play. We'll see. Gross May, yep, feeling a full game. There you go. Stuff Efson and rookies hates. Yeah, it's something that I've spoken to Joe about as well. It's the coach seems to just give these kids a run and say, hey, this is what AFL is like. This is what the feelings are going to be like. And then they just get dropped, which isn't really a fun thing, especially for us in Supercoach land. And that's where I say all the time, don't go early on players. Just don't. Like, I went early on Simpson, very, very happy that I did. But people went early on Boxall and have held him for 5 weeks. People went early on Archer Day Wicks, thinking he was going to be a keeper, or at least playing for a majority of the time. It's really hard to gauge sometimes, but the big thing is when you've got these players who are cheap, who are rookies, who come in when there's big injuries, that's the major warning signs as well. We've seen it with some Hawthorn players. Like, I don't see a world where Hustwaite comes back anytime soon. They need to have injuries to Connor Nash. They need to have injuries to Bailey McDonald. Hustwaite basically has to get the VFL Brownlow in a week to come back. It is rough. It's really rough. His scoring on the weekend was good. He was the highest rated Hawthorn player on the weekend. So in the VFL. So yeah, it's really tough. Even someone like a Connor Stone, and this is why I'm going to downgrade him to a 99k player, bank 100k, and then do some funky stuff, because I just don't see him coming back. Like, he scored okay on the weekend, and it's just done. So yeah, a bit rough. Gross likely sub again. Carroll unlikely sub risk. I don't think Carroll will be sub. I don't think Gross will be sub. Hope so. There you go. Traded both cheese, antipod time. There you go. Well, when you're top 50, antipods are the way to go. Not bringing Shai Bolton. He's a trap written all over him. Yeah, I think he does, Josh. But the beautiful thing with him is it's the low break even, yeah? So due to having the low break even if he doesn't end up being a keeper, he should make us a bit of money. And if it's Shai Bolton plus 10k equaling a Warner, then I think that may be good enough to bring him in. If he had like a 50 break even, if he had something much worse, I think would be in trouble. Bro, why did 5 people trade him out? I don't know. But yeah, it's a bit rough. Butters, Rosie, and Horn Francis only 4th player. Yep, I agree. Vicentini, we'll see. If he ends up being the number 1 ruck, could work out. Pie's in really good form. Will be tough for North, mate. Every game's tough for North. We are North supporters. Every game is tough. Boxall sub or Trevelya. Guys, chuck some more comments in the stream. We'll probably be here for another 25 odd minutes up until about 6. So happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Look, I think it's probably going to be Trevelya. They've lost a couple of midfielders and they need the play to come in. So yeah, you don't bring the guy in who's covering McRae and then Garcia to just be sub again. I just don't think it happens. So yeah, sub names 1 game before. Let's check out a bit of AFL news while some things start to filter through. Hopefully you guys chuck some more comments in the chat. We'll make it work out. If not, I'm happy to finish off. So Zach Jones is currently named. We have a look. Oh, look, Mr. Zach Jones. Bald head. Team lineups. Sorry, fellas. Zach Jones is named as a follower, so I don't think Zach Jones is going to be sub. Yeah, I don't think he'll be sub. Hunter Clark potentially sub, but I do think it might be Boxall. We'll see. Raining for Richmond tonight. There you go. And if you're watching the game, Swizz will be down at the game too. So Supercoach Insider Swizz will be down at the game. Just see what happens. Almost want us to lose so that Brad can resign. There you go, Joe. But the problem is you've just re-signed him for 2 years. This is what you were telling me yesterday. It is rough. Rough situation. Oh, mate, that sneezer was coming for like 10 minutes. Boy. Either or is still a good result. There you go. Do you think Clay Hall will play again? Yes, I do. It may be a little bit later. I think they're going to have to wait for some injuries as well. Yeah, that's probably the big thing. It's just the injuries. If he hasn't played now, he's on the cusp, which is the big thing. But I think the injuries can hurt him a little bit. Similar to a few of these other teams, they're going to get, looks like they're going to get Tom McCarthy. Nice running halfback player in the mid-season draft. Might slot straight into the team. And then it's really just a case of with Clay Hall. Where is the Clay Hall question? With Clay Hall, if some of these more guys get injured. So if a Hewitt gets injured, the Hutchison gets injured, a Hunter, Reed, Jack Graham, some of these guys get a bit slower, whatnot. I could see someone coming out from here and him slotting in. He is named as emergency, but a rough one. I mean, Tom Gross, beautiful midfielder, got relegated to the half forward line just to fit a spot into the team. So maybe Clay Hall can only play mids, and when he does, doesn't work. What is Clay Hall break even? 1 second. Might be a bit of a deciding factor if we end up trading him or not. -9. All right. So he should make us a bunch of money left if you still got him in your team. But it's rough, man. I reckon Clay Hall probably has as much chance as Camporelli coming back, which isn't great because he's negative break even. Camporelli, please break. 350, too much in the bank. See, my question is for you, Raven, and this is something that I spoke about a lot last night and things like that. I don't even think we make any trades next week. I think next week we say no trades. We say if someone's a mid-season draftee that looks fantastic, we get them in. But what is the point of trading someone in next week when every single player outside of round 12, and heck, if you bring round 12 in, they've still got to buy then anyway. But every single player is going to have a week off after you bring them in. Now, if you've got someone who's incredibly low break even, like when Chad Warner was, like a 30 break even a couple of weeks ago, okay. But I don't believe we're currently in that position at the moment. So my question to you is, who would you be bringing in next week? I don't mind the cash. The cash is fine. The cash is great. It opens up some opportunities, no worries. But who would you be bringing in next week versus bringing them in after their buy round or things like that? So if you look at my team a little bit, because I'm so low on round 12 buy round players, I can get in a Horn Francis. I can trade an Ashcroft. I can trade a Flynn, a Lindsay, some of these guys for round 12 buy players after round 12. And then I get an extra week worth of scoring out of them versus saying, well, I'll hold off on getting, let's pretend, Nick Dacos until after his buy. Or I'll get Nick Dacos in next week. But then in 2 weeks, he's got a week off. In my head, it doesn't really work out that way. North versus Collingwood game. Nah, I'm at home today. Unfortunately, Jacks. Would love to go to a couple more games throughout the year, though. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Joe and I are going to, if you guys figure it out, Joe and I think are planning on going to the Collingwood versus Carlton game. So I still need to buy tickets and stuff, but I think that's the plan at the MCG. So hopefully we see you guys there. Gotta love Libba. Pod for me thinking McRae out. Yep. Nice. George Hewitt. See, George Hewitt is the one. McRae. I would be a little bit wary just for the fact that he's got the week off next week. That would be my only thing. Like, we plan for round 12 buys in, like, round 7. So you've still got a bunch of time. But there's no advantage for me to bring him in. I don't think he's going to go 180. He may even cop the tag. And, like, next week he's got the week off. Just wait. Just wait. Bazina, what's your trades? For me this week, the trades are Bice out, McRae out, obviously due to the injury. Last week I got Simpson in, so I was just lucky with that. And then Dacos and Bolton. Maybe should have gone Holmes. It is what it is, but I got Dacos in instead. This is Josh Dacos, the brother, not the Collingwood superstar. He scored the rising star, we'll see. Ron resigning, Ron Bragg, there you go. Hey, why not? Hurdy for show, there you go. Except that heartbeat velo. Bunch of blah, 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 blah. Essendon talk. Do you think it's a bad idea to get 99k rookies for the rest of the upgrade cycle, guaranteed 23 primos? I have 6 trades left, effectively use as cover. Well, the thing is, that some of the players we've seen as 99k rookies have definitely been players that have played for the entirety of the year. I think this year it feels like there may be not as many selections, just for the fact that not as many teams have got big injuries. But I think you're okay with it. Some of these players are going to be instantly coming in saying, yep, I'm going to play next week, done. A Crosley, for example, if he goes to an Essendon, I could 100% see him coming in the following week and playing the last 8 games of the season. We saw last year a Logan Evans at Port Adelaide came in and played straight away. There's players that will be selected to do that. It's just about us finding those players and being able to analyze it and say, cool, that's it, done. Picking out trades, picking out players from that. If not coming in straight away, they'll play at some point. And at the moment, I think a 99K player is worth a trade plus Huswaite not being in my team. So I think we'll be okay. Hopefully. Hopefully that's the plan. There you go. Congratulations on the 1 subs. There you go. Very much deserved. Thank you, mate. Will the rain hurt either side tonight? Now, Joe will probably tell us if the rain's going to hurt a little bit. But, yeah, Oldie might get bagged in the wet. I think Richmond's a very good contested game too. If you have a look at their game versus North Melbourne, there was an obscene amount of tackles. So, yeah, it could end up just being bonkers. It could just be tackle city. And that's the only reasoning why I'm a little bit against Zach Merritt. The last 2 weeks have been atrocious. He should do okay in the Dreamtime game. No worries. But, yeah, that's my only reservations for him. I can do Cherry into Gorn this week. It does work. I do have Ben Patton sub, so I can do that. But my brain's saying punt on Zach Merritt. Maybe I'll just take it and say Zach Merritt's in my team. No worries. Meant for the next few weeks. Only rookie corrections. I am 4 rookies from full primo. Nice work. Would be such an Essendon thing to lose this week, naming a taller back line against a small forward line. There you go. Not too much. And this is the big thing too, is if it allows you to go 1 rookie up to primo, it's not bad. It's more about just prioritizing, hey, maybe next week we downgrade a rookie, leaving like 1 up, 1 down, or 2 up, 1 down, plus some cash the following week, versus bringing in guys who are either going to be on the bye next week or have their bye the week after. Bont VC didn't work. Oh, sorry, Joe. Who do I go captain out of Merritt, Brayshaw, Dacos, and Cherry? Look, I think Darcy Cameron is going to be a tough matchup for Cherry. But if we have a look at the big man's scoring over the last however many weeks, where is his season stats? Sorry. He has gone very well. And against Oscar McInerney, he did well. And against Nank Purvis, who's an okay ruckman to play against, he went well. So I would be okay with being like, cool, I've gone Bont, Thursday night, whatever, wasn't so bad. But Cherry as a fallback, I think you're okay. You're okay. Unless you're Velo and it says, hey, go Oldie as C. There you go. Any ruck Essendon will play. There you go. I think Crosley will do quite well for them as well if he ends up being selected. Just for the fact that he has a good forward craft as well. So could work out well. Content. So the way that it worked last week, the way that it worked in 2024 was that basically a week after the players got selected was when they could first play games in the AFL. I think maybe it has changed a little bit this year where they get selected on the Wednesday. Potentially they can play on the following weekend. I think Joe looked up something yesterday that said Hutchinson basically came in between round 11 and 12 and then played round 12. So you're going to have to be lucky to be able to do that. But I think that could be a possibility. If not, by like round 16, they'll have their first price rise anyway. So realistically, in Supercoach land, you can make some trades this week, get a player in if you want. Don't get anyone in next week. And then in round 13, you get round 12 players. Round 14, you get round 12 or 13 players. Round 14, you get the 3 before it. Round 15, you get the 4 before it. Round 16, you get the guys before it as well. So that's where it's like, hey, lock in all your round 16 and 15 guys you want to get in. Lock them in, then you're done, whatever it is. Let's go. Greek Raven, Stewart is dead to me. I spent a boost getting Tom Stewart in and then getting Tom Stewart out. I refuse unless Tom Stewart is like 800. No, sorry, unless Tom Stewart is like 300K. Okay. But I refuse to get this guy back in. Trade Kako Sada, C Hall gets. Ooh. It's interesting. I think Kako will be okay purely for the fact that he's still named. For my head, it will be one of the other players unless you need Kako's money. That would be the only reason to trade him. Kako allowed me to get Cherry in 2 weeks ago via TDK. So that worked out okay for me. But at the moment, you just need playing players. A Kako 60 might be the difference between you having 18 and 19 on the field. And we know a 60, unfortunately, in the last few weeks has actually been an okay score because Zach Merritt scored 65. Last couple of weeks, Nick Dacos has been tagged, has scored similar and things like that. So don't trade out the playing players yet unless you can actually do something viable with the money. Get rid of the dead rookies first. Hopefully that helps. Hornbrands is back after his 3 ground. Yeah, and that might be the plan for myself as well. Like Ashcroft plus 30k gets me Horn Francis, and cool. If that's how it goes, that's how it goes. That's currently a little bit of the plan. Finishes off the forward line. No guys with super late buys, hopefully. So yeah, could end up working. The fact that he scored like 12 might be the saving grace for us. Go with Cherry. There you go. Joe, Big J, thoughts on McRae, Hewitt, Forheany, and Bolton. I like it. A little bit wary of Heaney. Like, I think he'll be okay. But the scoring, I don't think will be as big as what he was last year. That's my only feelings. Anyone going early on Mills? Look, I wouldn't. We've seen the same thing with Kadeem Coleman. He came in and dominated, and then, well, he didn't come in and dominate. He dominated in the VFL, came in last week, played the full game, and then got out this week. So I'm a little bit wary of getting in a Mills now. I don't think there's any pressure to do so. I would more than happy to say, cool, in 2 weeks I get Mills in, or 3 weeks, depending on what it is, and say, yep, I've got 3 weeks sample size. Because it could end up being the same thing with Baz. Came back from injury, dominated the first week, cool. Came back from injury, and then had like a week off, and then, another one. Sydney will go easy on him. I don't think they're going to throw him to the Wolves. The team is not bottom of the ladder. They don't need him to win. So I think they may take the cautious approach, and we'll see what happens with that. Good call on Hewitt, maybe McRae to Chad Warner. There you go. I wouldn't be bringing in round 12 now. Chad Warner's still a good price. I think he's got an okay run coming up, so it's fine. But no round 12 players until after their bye. Thoughts on Pryor, Horn, Francis, and Stone to Simpson, Bolton, and Sinclair? Look, I don't mind it. As long as your round 13 bye isn't knackered already. I mean, I look at my round 13, and I've basically only got Brayshaw. So me doing this trade would be okay. But you don't want to have Brayshaw, Sarong, and now you're bringing in 3 other players as well. Heck, if you had a Naz. So just have to be a little bit careful about loading too much up on that buy. But otherwise, I think it's fine. Bolton will make money. Sinclair, low break even. Simpson will make money. You're getting rid of 3 players who probably need to go. I don't mind it. Hutchinson debut was round 13. Yeah, so I was correct. After round 12 and then round 13. DJ Gardner Holmes, mate. I love that name. There you go. Like Stewart's game and for his price tag, mate. I liked his game too. It was okay. But I wouldn't be surprised if during the week we hear, oh, Tom Stewart pulled up sore. Oh, something happened. He's on my never again list. There you go. Trade Bice or McRae. Look, if you can do the trades and not trade out McRae, trade Bice. Purely for the fact that McRae won't lose money when he's injured. Bice will lose money this week. Unless he goes massive, which knowing my luck, he probably will. Knowing my luck, he's going to score 120. He's going to have the best game of his season versus Melbourne, kick the winning goal. It happens. But I would say if you can do the things you want to do, get rid of Bice. Just for the fact that his value is going to go down again. And that's what hurt me last week. And that's why I was against not trading him this week. So get rid of him. Save yourself the 20K. Get a better player. McRae's not going to lose value. He's just not going to play. So Mills best after his bye. There you go. Good afternoon, Big J. Hope you're doing well. Daniels, I assume you mean Caleb Daniel. Humphrey and Ashcroft still in my side. So 3 of them to go. Look, I think Caleb Daniel has the biggest chance of being a keeper. If he scores 95 in our forward line, it's fine. He'll be F6, maybe F7. We'll see. If we have a look, he is cheap, but previous to his other scoring, he's kind of fallen off a cliff a tiny bit. Once that 51 cycles out, he'll start to go up in cash. So I think it's more just a case of him figuring out what his position in the team is going to be. And I think that's the luxury trade. I don't think Levi Ashcroft will be a keeper. I don't think Humphrey will be a keeper. I think Caleb Daniel has more of a chance. It's similar to a Zach Reed. Has a fair enough chance of being a keeper in our teams. And it's completely luxury trade. Now, if I can go Chad Warner post buy Caleb Daniel with like 10K, cool. I might consider doing, you know what I mean, the other way around. I might consider doing that. But I think at the moment, for a lot of people, he's going to be a keeper. So, yeah, a few people got rid of him a couple of weeks ago. Worked out all right. Guys, probably got another 5-10 minutes left. If you guys want to throw me some questions, let me know. Taking a risk and trading Daniel and McRae this week. All right, cool. Bring in Tom Green or Whitfield this week, considering price and B. Well, if we have a look, Whitfield is not a trade-in I would do this week. Whitfield, 584K. I don't know if he makes his break even. The last couple of weeks haven't been great. I don't have DFS Pro, so I can't see the run versus defenders. But Whitfield break even is quite high. Tom Green, cheaper. Break even is lower. Should go up a little bit of money, whereas Whitfield will go down. I think he matches Carlton's mids. They play differently. My only problem with Whitfield, and it's happened every year. So my only problem with Tom Green, and it's happened every year. Potentially this year is different. He always goes big and then falls off. And I would hate for that to happen to you this season, but it could be what happens. So that would be the only negative for myself, but he's averaging quite a lot. So, yeah, I think if you had to choose between the two, would be Tom Green in, wait a week on Whitfield. I think you can wait quite a lot. So, there you go. Hello, mate. Gone is Merritt. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. This week's really hard to pick. Like the way that I normally do captaincy and vice captaincy, and I think my average at the moment is like 145 for captaincy and vice captaincy. It's very high. Considering how bad my team is, no cash gen, I've held ranks okay, and it's just due to captaincy. So I tend to play the matchups quite a lot. Who's playing North Melbourne? Who's playing Richmond? Who's playing West Coast is probably the big three, and then figuring out the rest from there. So Merritt versus Richmond. The only problem with Merritt is the last 2 weeks have been really shit. Like, excuse my English, but 76-65 is not great. If you can go back to like the game versus Marvel, fantastic. And it might be the tipping point for him. Brad Scott's put a rocket under his butt. Cool. Okay, we're very, very happy. Does have a good high score against them. It would be great. And I think Cherry's a perfect fallback. So that might be the way to go. West Coast play too late in the weekend. Maybe you've got a Jordan Dawson. He does quite well at home, but I wouldn't trust it. From the early games, I think Zachy Merritt will probably be the best selection. So, yeah, I don't mind it. Merritt into Cherry. Cool. Daniel is not a keeper. We'll see. We'll see. I might be forced to, but hopefully not. I just don't have cash. No cash here. There's no cash. Just outside the top 100. Nice work, mate. Don't know if I should sideways Horn Francis and McRae and boost out a Hustwaite to grab Simpson plus 2 primos. Just hold McRae. Look, if you're trying to break into the top 100, I think a lot of people are going to either be having to hold one of them. Excuse me. Are going to have to hold one of them. So if you want to break in, I think trading both, spending the booster might be the way to go. If it can get you really good primos, it might be the good shout. Yeah, we'll see. I think that might be the good shout. You can hold if you want. McRae, probably not. I don't think there's 2 rookies worth it to warrant the trade. I mean, if you like a Sims, then maybe you can go Horn Francis out. I would trade McRae out, not Horn Francis. Um, I've said it before, but just due to the buy round, Horn Francis having next week off, and McRae having 2 weeks off. If he's 2 weeks away, he has 3 games off. We'll see. You could go McRae, Sims, and Simpson if you don't have them into 1 primo, 2 downgrades if you want to do that. Or you can grab Boxall if you don't have him either. But yeah, I would do the trade if you can. How much faith do you have in Bolton? Look, any game that Bolton has got over more than 40% CBAs, he's scored over 100, which makes him a forward primo. If he goes big, he'll make me a bunch of money. If he doesn't go big, he'll still make me a bunch of money. If he doesn't end up being that's okay. Being a keeper, that's okay. I've got him at like 500k in a couple of weeks. So I think that's all right. Two weeks of Bolton. So let's pretend, right? Supercoach projector. If you guys don't have the extension, then what are you doing? Let's pretend. Cool. We've got it here. So Bolton goes 102 against Port Adelaide. Good. Not the best. Whatever. Bolton goes 118. I don't think he will. But a 118 against Gold Coast. Cool. Like he goes up to 500k. So even if he goes like 90 against Gold Coast, he still goes up to 500k. That plus some cash equals a player. So I think this is the way that he's going to be. And that's fine. The way that Frio's kind of maneuvered themselves around with Young not being in the side is very interesting. And I think that's led to a few other players getting some more CBAs. So I think it's worked out fine. Follow Joe's tip, got the Bont in the VC, so go on captain. There you go, Mark. Who would you prefer? McRae, Kako, Hustwaite, Dawson, Vicentini, and Sims? Look, I would get rid of the first ones, Henry, but maybe not the second ones to bring in. You're relying a lot on Vicentini being a keeper or being like just actually playing more this week. If it works out, fantastic. You're laughing if it works out. If not, you're spending a trade again. But I'm okay with this. Dawson's scoring's just so up and down. Like the last 2 weeks have been okay. No Crouch in the team. Cool. But I'm haunted by the 78. I'm haunted by the 76. I'm haunted by the 60. It's like one big week, one crap week. One big week, one crap week. It's like even just this. One big week, one crap week. One big week, one crap week. One big week against Collingwood. Cool. Against West Coast, I could totally see him scoring a 60. Like, yeah, that's just the way it is. Problem with this side and most of us is the dead bench. Your on-field side is very good, yeah. And I've tried to prioritize a little bit just points scoring on field, which has hurt a little bit. The only problem is obviously that as well. So this is why I think I've got enough trades. Like I look at my team, I've got 3 spots left. Potentially Daniel, another one out. Potentially Chera, another one out. With 15 trades, I can go 5 trades per spot on field. It's not going to happen. So it's just about getting enough cash. 99k rookie, 99k rookie. Hopefully mid-season draftees that play. We'll find out on Wednesday. Some extra money, cool. I can start upgrading stuff. So yeah, you don't score points from the bench. Sandy Brock in this team would have been fantastic though. Merritt into Cherry for me tonight. Yeah, I might go Merritt too. I've currently got Cherry into Gorn, but I might go Merritt into Cherry just for the fun. Have someone to watch tonight. Hey, Big J's Heaney an option, not score show. And this is the big problem, isn't it? It could free up Heaney a little bit. From memory, Heaney has been spending a little bit of time in the forward line. So maybe that happens again with Mills coming back into the side. I'm really iffy on Heaney, but I don't know if there's anyone better at the price, which is the only thing. And that's the only problem. So I don't know if there's anyone better for the price at that consideration. I don't even think I can check. Oh, yeah, I can check. So have a look. Filters, mids around. What is Heaney? Like 500k. Let's go 520k. So we're being a little bit generous. We're getting Heaney in. 517k, mid only. There's not... Oh, I wonder if I can do this. It's going to mess me up too much. Cool. No. So there's not really that many people. I'll do this instead. Cool. There's not really that many options that's left, to be fair. Max Holmes, we can't select anymore. Matt Kennedy, we can't. If we search by 3-round average, like, I assume you've got a Marek in the team. Okay, Blitzarves, you can't pick. This is not the week to bring in a Heaney, and you're bringing in Heaney because he's the only one you can really select. You can go with Sarong. I would be more inclined to pick Sarong, just better buy round, and is obviously a bit more used into the team. Is cheaper as well. I think Caleb Sarong is a little bit cheaper. 1 second. Yeah. Oh, no, a little bit more expensive. So maybe you can't afford Sarong. The Heaney pick just doesn't fit for me, unfortunately, mate. Sorry. Who you got for VC? I might go Merritt into Cherry. We'll see. Brayshaw into Cherry for me this week. There you go. Joe got light out by Brock. There you go. Joe killed the Bont. There you go. Merritt into Cherry for me. There you go. So much for the Big J show, guys. Well, there you go. There you go. Guys, I'm going to head off. It is 6 o'clock. Thank you very much for the love. Enjoy the game today. We are back with our team reviews on Sunday night. Review crew on Monday. Members live stream on Tuesday if you guys haven't seen it, and then the drive home on Thursdays. Congrats again to Brad from Supercoach Pro for the 1K subs. Cheers. Good luck, BJ. There you go, mate. Just have fun. Supercoach is all about having fun. Cherry, or some form of Zach Merritt into Cherry. Let me just fix this up. Some form of Zach Merritt into Cherry this week, or Cherry into Gorn if you have them. Play off the matchups a little bit. There's no real easy ones. I find Dr. Supercoach's captaincy video is really good for this kind of thing as well. So worth having a look at him. But even he was saying there's not many options. And a lot of the VCs that he has played. So it makes things a bit tough. Thanks for the great stream, mate. Anytime, anywhere. Bello, there you go. Well done, Big J. Mate, it has been a lot of fun. Because here at the Centre Bounce, we do the hard work so you guys don't have to. Bye for now.